Right, welcome back, and let me first welcome our guest, Dr. Amany Houla, social development expert. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And I guess we followed during the past few days some of the inauguration of the president to some of the projects across Egypt, once in Sinai and in Upper Egypt, the latest of which came those new directives by the president for a package of social protection decisions and measures in order to alleviate the ramification of the global crisis and the economic situation. Let me ask you first, how did you read the timing of such directives and their significance?
I can tell that President Sisi is trying to monitor the ability and the responsibility of the people. Whenever he finds he can go farther in the development sector, which is the most important, he runs very fast. But people start to feel the load, and they cannot maintain waiting for the more better elevation of their level of living. They start to feel the pressure. Then he measures the trying to make a balance or an equation between continuing the development and keep the people in a good condition as possible. In comparison with its international crisis, and the inflation wave is worldwide. It's not a local matter. But he is trying to, maneuvering the situation.
Well, yes, indeed. The president, the leadership has been trying very much indeed to balance between the track, the developmental, the sustainable development in Egypt Vision 2030 track, and of course, people and the burden that was put on them because of the inevitable economic reform program. If I may ask about, again, the timing of those new directives for a new package of social protection before we move on to some of the presidential initiatives that were taken in this regard.
Of course, it's very good timing, especially we are next month we'll have Holy Ramadan, and people in Egypt, they have their own way to celebrate and to, actually we have a lifestyle which is a little bit more consuming than we're supposed to, but he respects the way of thinking of people and try to make them not suffering as much as possible.
If I may ask you, how would the citizens look into those new measures taken by the leadership? And how, before I ask you, how would that reflect definitely on the budget? Because it is a huge also burden on the state.
Of course.
But let me here take how the citizens themselves look into those new measures.
If we let people understand the real procedures and what we are going through, I think their reaction and acceptance will be much more. But unfortunately, we are suffering from, first of all, very strong enemies hiding everywhere, starting from the virtual world, even to the reality. They are trying to penetrate people and give negative message most of the time, and they are very organized, and they know how to do it, and destruction of Egyptian future is their target, and we have not to ignore that. Second point, actually we are suffering from almost more than 50% of people are ignorant, starting from even handwriting, even to people who are a little bit educated, but still they don't have enough awareness to understand what's going on. They used unfortunately, for the last few decades, to be happy with just having food, giving birth of children, and suffering from many problems, but accepting them as it's the fact. Yani, living in dirty places, bad service in every sectors, they started to feel this is a normal. The only thing they can feel or make different with them is the supply of the food, and having just marrying and getting more children. We have to...
Raising awareness is a battle, is indeed a battle that we have to deal with. But let me hear, because we're speaking about very, very effective, let me here take at least what we're speaking about here. We're speaking about wage for government employees, 3,500 and pensions by 15% as of April. We're speaking here about 1,000 more and pensions by 15. We've never seen such percentage go high.
And especially we already had some raise just few months ago. They are trying to compete with the elevation of the prices.
We're speaking about increasing the minimum wage. According to degrees, to categories of employees, and we're speaking here about raising tax exemption. For an instant, تكافل وكرامة benefits the needy citizens, or the increase or raising تكافل وكرامة benefits for by 25%. We're speaking about outstanding directives, and we're speaking about Finance Minister Dr. Mohammed Maid saying that this new package would cost the country 150 billion pounds.
We have to understand that the big mistake have been made by President Sadat when he stopped the brave decision of increasing the price of the bread. I think it was causing a lot of problems at that time, because people, they don't understand. We have to make them understand. We are now still paying the bill for this wrong decision when he went back.
Actually, in more than 40 years.
Yeah.
And more.
Yeah.
We haven't seen someone has the guts to come near such a... it was a taboo.
Even a brave person like Sadat, he couldn't. And of course, Mubarak, he understood the keyword of the people. Just give them food, no matter the quality, no matter it's carcinogenic, it's spoiled. Of course, everything was, we suffered a lot from adulteration.
Yes.
But no problem, just feed them and they will feel happy.
Safe.
Yes, this is it.
As long as they live, eat,
but
whatever. This is not our topic tonight. Our topic tonight is a little bit economic than social. We speak because what you're speaking about is very, very crucial to deal with the battle of awareness and what we are going through. But tonight we're focusing just on the economic part of it, which is how is the social protection umbrella that has been put by the leadership and the government has so far dealt or kept citizens in what they say a life breath.
We have to know some about our people. We have a problem. First of all, people, sorry, I'm coming here just to tell you the points I need people to know, especially decision makers. Maybe they can try to improve the results. First of all, people are very cooperative even in corruption. For example, when we go to any rural areas, people hiding the informations about each other to make us give them more than they should take. This make the supply of the help is not equal or not fair enough.
You're speaking here about vendors and commercial.
Even يعني when تكافل وكرامة or any initiatives or projects by the government, we have to try to improve it by discovering the weak points. This is one of the weak points. People are not frank enough to discover the needy people. Actually, some of them, they have dignity.
No, but let me here say that most of the presidential initiative, they study case by case before they start putting them under their beneficiary umbrella.
Of course, and they're doing great. And still, I'm insisting on trying to make double check, because people sometimes are trying to find a way.
Manipulate
yes,
the cases.
This is the point, yeah. A second point, people in Egypt, they feel worried about to be envied by telling that everything is okay with them, or I have a good opportunity, or I have a good a chance for working. But they are hiding the good news and start talking a lot about bad news. But you cannot make your evaluation from the people talk. You have to discover case by case, as you mentioned, and to make your decision according to your own vision, not according to the people's words.
Right. Again, let me here speak about it from a little bit economic point of view more than the social one.
Okay.
And we're speaking about an estimated number of 35 million citizens who will directly benefit from the president's new social protection measures.
Yeah.
How do you view that? How does that reflect on people and?
Of course, we can feel. I can feel the relief of the tension of many of people, especially, of course, the needy people, and also it's the aborted attempts of people who are trying to exaggerate the problems and trying to make people feel unhappy. These measures come in a very good timing and really
very critical.
Yeah, and really make big difference with people.
If I may ask here about how the neediest would really benefit from such an increase in wages, in how they benefit from.
Of course, we have to understand the mentality of the people who unfortunately didn't receive enough education. For example, if you give money to some of them, you will find the husband start to try to find another wife, a new marriage, for example, instead of improving his life and trying to put his family in a better situation. So, in parallel with the all the help and donations and the initiatives we are giving, the awareness of the people are very important, and it should be obligatory. I'm very happy with the decisions that for the pension of Takaful Karama or other pensions, they refuse to give the money to the lady every month until she brings paper from the school that her kids are regular in the school. Even the ladies are trying to play around this point and try to bring fake papers, but still we are in the right track to convince them and even prevent them from letting their children to run away from schools. Also, for the other points, people should be aware of. We need to make it obligatory. Even if we can make lectures and you couldn't get مثلا your ID card without having these lectures, to understand about the situation of your country, your rights, your duties, what is the importance of elections, what is the importance of being positive when you see something wrong in the community. Building up the personality in parallel with giving supplies to people is very important also, and we need to work harder on these points.
Right. Before we move on with our discussion, let me here take this report and President Sisi's decision to raise cash assistance paid to beneficiaries of Takaful and Karama widely welcomed. Let's watch.
President Fattah al-Sisi announced last week his decision to increase by 25% the financial assistance paid to beneficiaries of the Takaful and Karama program. Social Solidarity Minister Naveen Qabbash said that the rise should be applied as of April 1st, noting that Sisi's decision was widely welcomed by beneficiaries of the program. The Takaful and Karama program addressed most vulnerable families and helps them face the burdens of life. She said her ministry could start paying the raise as early as April 15th, noting that beneficiaries receive the cash assistance in the middle of each month. President Sisi pays big attention to social protection programs which are meant to help vulnerable families overcome need and improve their way of life to be able to earn a decent living and become a better asset for their community. This is done through the different programs of the Ministry of Social Solidarity. Qabbash said that women constitute 74% of the total beneficiaries of Takaful and Karama program. The program has been able to issue identification papers for 850,000 mothers and daughters and double compensation for the mothers of martyrs. Takaful and Karama program was launched in 2015 to support impoverished families with school-age children, the elderly and people with special needs in Upper Egypt. About 2.6 million women benefit from Takaful and Karama program. The minister added that there are 6 million female beneficiaries of the pension insurance system, representing 58% of all beneficiaries, emphasizing that her ministry is very keen on supporting and maximizing women's rights and encouraging effective participation in women empowerment initiatives. Furthermore, the government has been providing elderly women below the poverty line with 1.2 billion Egyptian pounds annually, representing 6.3% of all cash support, while a total of 281,000 women and mothers are supported by about 1.6 billion Egyptian pounds.
Right, welcome back, and back to Dr. Houla. And the expansion of the base for those beneficiaries of the social protection umbrella, and how do you view that? How does that reflect on the daily lives of people?
Of course. We used in the old days, we used to hear that the traders are waiting for the increase in the salary of the employees because it reflects on them. They feel people ability to buy and to make the economic moves better when such decisions happen. But of course, it will be making many better start to even some places or workshops they stopped already in with the crisis of corona. Now they start to work again. They feel there is a movement in the market, which is great. And you can watch around in the other countries, especially in the developed countries like England. They make very negative response for in comparison with our dealing with the crisis. There you cannot, I have relatives there, they cannot find vegetables easily, and they make restrictions. You get 2 tomatoes only, get 2 cucumbers. Things we cannot imagine it could happen in such rich countries. In comparison with our country, when there is a small problem around rice, they solve it. When there is a problem about chicken, they solve it. We have to be fair and recognize how the reaction of the decision makers in comparison with the others.
Dr. Houla, speaking economic-wise, and we are watched by audience who are looking into Egypt taking socio-economic decisions and programs, very harsh ones, in order to be able to put ourselves on the right track for our future. So if we speak about the social protection, we're here speaking about different initiatives and different decisions that were made, actually. So social protection has different sides.
Of course.
So we've seen initiatives like Takaful Karama and 1 million health, that is in the health direction.
Actually, there are many.
Haya Karima, or decent life.
Yes, Mastura, there is a very promising project or initiative called Mastura, because I'm very happy with encouraging people to improve their skills and to work and to be productive, not just waiting for donations and help.
Indeed. Others that are totally economic, which are the support they give to SMEs and entrepreneurs and startups. This is a kind of social protection also.
Of course.
So I mean here there are direct and indirect,
of course,
means the country has dealt with. From your point of view, how do you find those direct ones and the indirect ones, and how were they able to contain the repercussions of the economic situation?
Actually, I'm very happy with some points you mentioned, because that for the first time in Egypt, the decision maker is watching and reacting with the any problem. They start to understand how to solve. When they find a weak point, they try to put more efforts in the direction of this point. For example, even the handicapped people used to be ignored for decades. Now, actually, I'm very happy for what measures has been taken for them. Also, the ignorant ladies and the breadwinners, they have a lot of chances to improve their skills, to being vocational trained to work either in their own
schools, or they are being supported and trained in order to be able
to be positive and
works.
to be productive. It's very important, because we have some negative, we can say inherited ideas. We have to it's time to change them.
Yes, we have to diminish those traditions that we are used to. If I may ask you here about the importance of collaboration between the government or the state institutions and the civil society and the private sector. We've seen the president putting social protection measures. We've seen direct decisions and directives that were given. How do you view the role of civil society and private sector in this upcoming stage in order to be able to coordinate with the government's such efforts?
We can say it's يعني a keyword or a password to يعني proceed and achieve progress much better than working in isolated islands. Now we can see the papers, see the researches and the data, and we can feel the part of the living part of the papers. Yeah, papers cannot tell you everything, but when you are dealing with the social communities and the people dealing with people directly and understanding their needs, know them one by one, you can get much better result than just dealing through employees and having just paperwork.
From your point of view, how to engage the NGOs and the private sector in the social protection programs, or how do you view such importance given to such matter at this upcoming stage?
It starts to happen, but we need some more يعني measures, in my opinion. First of them, we need transparency. We need all the data to be public and everybody can see. We need to have a real...
What do you mean by that?
Okay. Unfortunately, like every sector in most of the countries, we have corruption in some people, or some people trying to get some benefits from the field they are working in. For example, if we are talking about donations, you can see in the television a lot of advertisements about donations. We need everything to be put in an organized way. For example, if you have one network of donations of every Egyptian citizen using his ID number, whatever the name of the organization, Masr al-Khair or whatever, if they are all putting the data in one network, so we can discover a lot of people having double and triple help, and another people, they don't receive anything because they are working in different in isolated ways.
Yes. What I meant here is how can, I mean, for instance, the president gave directives with raising the minimum wage by £1,000. How can such measure be implemented not only on the governmental employees and the public sector, but also in parallel to that, the private sector? This, what I mean by engaging the NGOs and the private sector into this social protection umbrella, and how do we need to do that, and what or how should that be a role played, particularly at this very critical stage?
We have to recognize that our governmental sector is a huge governmental sector in comparison with any country in the whole world. We have almost 6 million, we are about to reach 7, and they are trying to eliminate, but still it's a huge number.
Add to them their families, so
of
not
course.
Speaking about 6 million,
No,
but 4 times.
Or 5 times also. They are automatically, when you support them, it reflects on the market and the whole society, because they go to the market, they buy goods, they improve their way of living, so it reflects on the whole society, not only them. This is a very important point. And also, when people, when the wage starts to be higher, it reflects also on the other sectors, because automatically it's like a way to balance between the other sectors.
If I may ask you here about the Ministry of Social Solidarity and linking beneficiaries to other social protection services that promote literacy, family planning, decent housing, and well-being. I mean here, linking initiatives all together. How do you feel that?
Actually, we have a lot of really, we never see this previously. This all kind of aspects working together. And also they started to make some links and make conditional even pensions with other services the ladies should be aware of. But still, we need a lot of work, because we have a huge, actually, we can say, problems or previously thoughts. We have to start to change them. But we have to work harder. We are in a good track, but still we have a long way to go.
Indeed, we have. We have, in face of all the challenges, but we need to stay together and work hard.
Yes.
Dr. Amany Houla, economic development expert, we thank you so much for being with us tonight, for your input.
Thank you.
And that takes us to the end of our episode. But before we end our episode, let's watch Presidency in a Week. Good night.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received a visual call from Mr. Anwar Ibrahim, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Malaysia. The two leaders discussed ways to support joint cooperation between the two friendly countries. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi witnessed part of the tests of applicants to join a number of jobs in the bodies of the Ministry of Transport, which are the tests that are carried out in cooperation with the Egyptian Military Academy to enhance efforts to choose the best cadres and competencies from the applicants. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received in Ittihadiyya Palace Mr. Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held a session of talks with Mr. Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, in Ittihadiyya Palace, after which a joint press conference was held. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi visited Menya Governorate to inspect the development that had been accomplished in the governorate, its villages and the new Menya city in the framework of the state's efforts to provide a decent life for citizens in Upper Egypt. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi had breakfast with the people of the village of Al-Masara in Malawi, present Menya, and had an open dialogue with them, stressing that the country will never forget the people of Upper Egypt and the countryside, and that all development projects target the Egyptian citizens everywhere. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi issues his directives to accelerate the preparation of a package of decisions to improve the incomes of workers in the state administrative body and employees with special cadres as of the 1st of April 2023. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi extends his sincere congratulations to the people and government of Nigeria for the completion of the presidential and parliamentary elections, which represents an important step in the path of consolidating the pillars of democracy in the state of Nigeria.